Hi, listen, I'm glad that you were able to join me because I'm Jacqueline Battle. I'm with National Land Realty, North Alabama National Land Realty, where the broker is Jonathan Berryhill. So today we've been talking about how to monetize your land without compromising your ownership. And we've also been talking about graduating to land ownership and some steps as to how to go about doing that. So, why are we talking about land? Well, first of all, I'm a land professional. And the reason why land is so specifically important right now is because if you haven't noticed, markets are shifting, things are changing. We're going from what was generally known as a single family residence to now more of the single family rental. So you've got corporations that are buying up blocks and blocks of properties and turning them into rental value properties. So land ownership is important for specific reasons. One, because you can use that land to monetize. You can create monetization with your land. You can have your home on a portion of the land, and then you can subdivide other parts of the land in order to lease it out for various reasons so that you have non-performance income. Also, if you're a landowner, you may be interested in selling your land, and we specialize in that here at National Land Realty. We have the largest market in terms of visitors to our website. We get over 100,000 visits to our website each day. And that's for people who are specifically looking for land because we specialize in the marketing of land. But not only that, we market with companies like land.com. These are companies that specialize, again, in land. So they want to make sure that they market your land to those people who are interested in purchasing land and leasing land. That's where we come in. We are land professionals. I am specifically a licensed land title agent or land title examiner. That means that I examine the history of land to confirm make sure that there are no encroachments in terms of the title, making sure that there's no fraud that has taken place, that it has compromised your vested interest in the property without you knowing so. We can also ensure that title for you. But there are several land professionals who are part of National Land Realty that have specificities. Like there are some land biologists and there are also topographers. There are all types of individuals, some people who specialize in the marketing of land. But we all come together to provide a service for the customers of National Land Realty. Well, you may be interested in monetizing your land without involving National Land Realty. And that's no problem. I'm here to offer some pointers that may help you. But if you find that in trying to carry out the process of these pointers, that you would much rather this allow a professional to do it for you, land professionals here at National Land Realty, specifically myself, will be more than interested in assisting you. So let's get started. Firstly, we're going to start with how to monetize your land. So this is for landowners who either own family land, so they've got a vested interest in land they own with other individuals, or they own the land outright 100%, and they are interested in either selling it or they want to monetize it without compromising their vested interest. They don't want to sell it, but they do want to monetize that land. Well, I can speak specifically to you. Let me give you some pointers. We're only going to be here for a brief amount of time, specifically like maybe 10 minutes. So, and I want to cover all of this. So let me say to you that some of the ways that you can monetize your land is that you may want to lease it for agricultural purposes. You may want to lease it for the sake of solar farming, or you could do the solar farming. Yeah, people will pay you for that. For timber harvesting, also for event hosting, for recreational purposes. Corporations will lease a portion of your land for recreational purposes, specifically hunting, fishing, and other things of such nature. So let's break open some of this really quickly and give you some specifics. So when we talk about leasing the land for agricultural purposes, let's say you own the land and you've got a home on that property, but you only want to maintain your home. You don't want to compromise anything that has to do with your home. You can subdivide it so that you put your home on one of the parcels with a certain amount of land, and then you can subdivide the other parts of the land for certain uses. So you may want to use the back portion of the land for land grazing. That means that people want to lease your property so that they can have their cattle there for land grazing. You may want to lease the front portion of the land for solar farming or for certain towers that have to do with phone towers and other networks that will be willing to lease your property. As far as solar farming is concerned, that can go in various ways. Certain companies may want to utilize your land for solar farming, but then also there are certain communities that will pay you what's necessary to set up the solar farming and then pay you for the energy that's derived from the solar farming. So you could actually do the solar farming yourself and benefit from it in various ways. So I'm hoping that help you to understand some of the ways that you can monetize your property. Now, I have a video that it comes in detail in terms of solar farming. It talks about what it is, how it works. It talks about the various aspects of the lease agreement if you're going to do solar farming, the tax benefits and incentives that are involved, all types of considerations in terms of the zoning and the permits and the land stability and the community impact that you want to consider when it comes to solar farming. And then we talk about the steps to get started. That video is very detailed. And if you want it, just reach out to me. You can DM me and I'll be more than happy to send you a copy of it. If you're seeing the flyer for this particular live, then it also has my specific contact information on it, and you can reach out to me. It also talks about the legal considerations that should be taken into account when you're leasing land. So we're going to hit just a couple of those things right now. If you want the details on the solar farming, just reach out to me and I'll be glad to send it to you. But when you're talking about leasing your land, you want to consider that in that lease agreement that you ensure a comprehensive outline of the terms and the duration and the responsibilities of every party that's involved, because depending on what you want to lease the land for, it could vary, but you want to have it outlined. You want to look at the zoning laws as far as the intentions of those individuals that want to lease that land from you, because I will say this: if they violate the zoning laws, you could also be implicated in any problems that are involved with the zoning law. So you want to make sure that you check with the local zoning regulations to make sure that what you're going to lease that portion of the land for complies with the zoning laws. You want to make sure that the liability insurance is being covered specifically by the party that wants to lease a portion of your land from you. They're going to pay you. Yeah, they're going to pay you a lease. Sometimes they pay up the full amount of the lease in some cases to utilize your land for a certain period of time. But you want to make sure that any potential liability is covered in some type of policy that they are going to be providing or that you guys negotiate. And also you want to make sure that you don't negate getting legal advice in negotiating the lease. You can use your real estate attorney or you can use your trusted licensed land title agency to assist you with that. Lastly, can family land be used for conservation purposes and generating income? And the answer is yes. There are several agreements that you can enter into for the preservation of certain land in its natural state, and you can receive tax benefits, but also you can participate in government programs that will actually pay the landowners to conserve the property and conserve the natural habitat and protecting the natural resources that's on the land. So I hope that those things actually helped you in terms of you being a landowner and wanting to know some specific ways that you can monetize your land without compromising your ownership. So next, we're going to talk about graduating to land ownership. And the first thing that a lot of people want to know is, what is the initial step that they need to take when considering purchasing land? Another question that we got was, what are the common pitfalls to buying land? And then another question is, how can land be used as an investment? So we're going to answer this one first, to this question, how can land be used as an investment, as we talk about graduating to land ownership? Well, land can be used as a investment for building residential and commercial properties. We just talked about how you can lease a certain portion of your land for agriculture, for farming, or for livestock. You can lease a certain portion of your land for various purposes, commercial and recreational activities, like specific hunting or fishing, or for different outdoor staging events where they need to host outdoor events. Corporations pay for that all the time. Also, holding the land and selling it at a later date for a higher price is a way to benefit from the appreciation that comes with land ownership. And I can tell you now that it moves a lot quicker than it used to in terms of appreciation. So you want to look into that. You'd be surprised how much you can benefit in that way. Okay, so next, another question was, what are the environmental considerations when purchasing land? Well, you want to check out the soil quality. The soil quality. So you want to get the land checked for contamination. You want to make sure that it's suitable for what you intend it for, or what you may intend to lease it for in the future, like specifically agriculture or other things you might be interested in leasing it for. And for that reason, you want to check the soil quality. And there you can reach out to your local health department, and they will send out individuals that will test that land's soil quality. Also, a long time ago, they had to make sure that the land could pass the perk test. But now they have equipment that they can use to help that land perk. Also, water access. You want to ensure that it's adequate for water supplies and rights. You want to look into that. That's very important. You can reach out to your local and state environmental agencies that will help you with that. Now, remember, if this is too much for you, you can always just reach out to me as an agent of National Land Realty, and I can help you with all of that, including becoming a landowner. Or as a landowner, I can help you monetize your land without compromising your ownership. Or as a landowner, if you're interested in selling your land, we are one of the largest land marketing companies that exist. We've got platforms that far surpass other platforms, and you can always allow us to assist you in selling your land. I'm telling you, you will always be glad with the decision of using the land professionals at National Land Realty. So one of the other questions, again, was, what are the environmental considerations when purchasing land? So I guess this individual is they have intentions of purchasing land, but they want to know what the environmental considerations are. We've already talked about checking the soil quality. We've talked about water access, and we've talked about, we didn't talk about environmental regulations. So let's talk about that. You want to be aware of any restrictions, any environmental restrictions that would allow certain parts of this land that you want to purchase to be protected areas. And the seller may not be aware of it. These things may have been established before the seller established their ownership in the property, before they took title to the property. So it's going to be up to you to look into the environmental regulations. Again, if you just pick me, National Land Realty, we'd be more than happy to assist you with those things. But this is a way to walk you through going through the process yourself, if that's what you decide to do. Also, making sure about the national hazards. So if there's any risk that have already been assessed, like flooding or earthquakes or natural hazards that kind of prohibit or create a condition in terms of your insurability, you want to look into those natural hazards when you're looking into purchasing land, or if you're a landowner and you're looking to sell that land, because you want to make sure it's conducive for what the purchaser is interested in using it for. Well, we are down to the last minute in this Graduate to Land Ownership. And a lot of people have asked, how does one finance land? Well, it's a little different. In some cases, FHA will not insure property where the land carries more value than the house on the land. So you may want to survey off a portion of the land that you're going to purchase with the house, maybe 5 acres, and then purchase the rest of it separately. But there are lenders that we have been involved with over and over and over again in specific cases, and I'd be more than happy to provide a list of lenders that finance land because it's a little different than just your standard financing. There are specific land loans designed for purchasing land. You've got some home equity loans that you can use. For instance, you can use the equity that's in your current home to finance the purchase of some land, or you can go to those companies that are specifically specialize in financing land. You can also set up some seller arrangements that have been, delightful. I purchased 30 acres of land some years ago, and the financing was excellent because we were able to work that out between myself and the seller. Also, there are grants and subsidies depending on where you want to purchase the land or what your purpose is. If you want to purchase the land for land conservation, you can use a portion of it for land conservation. That is preserving the natural habitat of the land. And then you can use a portion of it to build your house on. And the government has programs that will financially assist you to purchase that land for the purpose of land conservation. Listen, I'm Jacqueline Battle, and I want to really tell you thank you for joining me. I am with National Land Realty. I have been a licensed realtor for over 30 years, and I've also worked in the land title industry for several decades as well. I am a licensed land title agent, but I'm also a licensed realtor. And my only objective in this industry is to assist you as a landowner or as a potential purchaser to make decisions that will be healthy for you as it pertains to land ownership. But I can tell you that the market is now shifting in favor of land ownership, and you want to get involved right now. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Jacqueline Battle. Reach out to me.